Welcome once again to this topic where we started discussing what you might struggle with if you choose to remain in a day job and refuse or don't start your own business. And we discussed 4 points. Now, today we are going to discuss an additional 4 points. And if all these resonate with you, I would urge you to get in touch with me. My contacts are actually in the links below. Once you click on the link, even if you don't purchase the book, just pick that phone number or even that email address. Let's have a conversation. Because sometimes when something is bothering you and you're starting to think about, actually, these points make a lot of sense, just look for somebody and have a conversation and find out what are the alternatives, what are the options that you have. But before we get into today's points, let's listen. So the first point that we're going to discuss is lack of autonomy. When you are employed 8 to 5 or 5 days a week for quite a number of weeks in a year, what that means is that that person that you're working for or that institution that you're working for, you belong there. And you're actually one of the resources that the institution is utilizing to achieve their goals. And therefore, you lack autonomy in that. Working for somebody else means lack of decision-making processes in the direction of your work, because you must follow some standard, some set principles, some step-by-step, the way that organization wants to do things. And sometimes you're young, you start, feeling like maybe there's a better way of doing these things because you can still achieve the same goal, but there's a simpler way of doing that. Unfortunately, not many organizations take that, but a few do. A few organizations that welcome innovation, they do welcome new ideas. But unfortunately, you find that if you're working for an institution where things must be done in a certain way and to get a certain result, then you must do that every day. Let me give you an example of a cashier in a bank sitting at the counter. When a customer comes to withdraw or even deposit, the steps that cashier must follow are the same daily, right? However, after some time, maybe after a year, after 2 years, after 10 years, you may realize that I'm not passionate. This is becoming some sort of routine. And also, I do not have an option but to follow the procedure. I can't change the process at all. I will have to stick as it is and have to do it as it is because it's the one that actually produces those results that the bank wants. So if you feel comfortable with that, well and good. But let me go to the second point. It's a job security in these uncertain times. Are you secure in the job that you're working in? Yes, you're employed as a pensionable, permanent employee, but is that long term? And what is long term? Is that 10 years? Is that 15 years? Is that 40 years? How many years will it take for you to continue on that particular job? And when I talk about job security, even stable jobs can be vulnerable because of the economic downturns, the layoffs, the corporate restructurings. Yeah, this lead to a lot of uncertainties. So you do not know, even if you're told you're permanent and pensionable, at what point there will be a restructure. The political environment in your country, yeah, may also affect your job. And economic downturns, yeah, they may also affect because your employer may no longer be able to sustain that level of salaries. Maybe they may want to go for cheaper employees. So it's up to you to figure out, if I wanted to plan my life so that I don't get disrupted by all these uncertainties, then what is my plan B if anything ever happens? And that plan B is what I'm talking about. Let's have a conversation and see what is it that you can do if anything happened to your permanent job, right? And because it can be very frustrating if you had never thought about it and at some point you have to leave your job because of for whatever reason, and you had nothing in mind. So it's good to perhaps have something in mind so that you can at least start somewhere if anything ever happens. And the third point is about fulfillment. All right. Many people find that a job does not even align with their passion or purpose. leading to lack of personal fulfillment and satisfaction. And these are the people I was speaking about even in the other video. They wake up on a Monday and they're dreading getting to that office because they're like, oh my God, I'm going to repeat the same steps again. But anyway, at the end of the month, you're happy something gets into your bank account because a salary will always be paid. But every Monday, you're like, oh no, oh no. Huh? So if you're in that position, it's good to look out for something else. Read books, yeah, start figuring out. In fact, one thing I always say is that if there's something you have in mind that you'd like to do, start buying books that where you can start learning about that particular craft, or get a coach or a mentor. You start having a conversation so that you start clarifying and bringing out those ideas and to clarity. And in fact, keep writing, and as the ideas keep changing and you keep modifying, keep updating that in your notepad, so that at the end of the day you are able to come up with a concrete idea as to what you'd want to do. But a coach or a mentor actually makes this process a bit easier, because we as coaches, we are able to ask you some relevant questions that take you into the direction that you're actually thinking about. All right, so just get in touch with us. You can just have one session with us, just book. You can even go to lucymunga.com. There is a calendar there. Just book for a meeting and we'll be able to meet and be able to have a conversation with you. And finally, skill utilization. Day jobs may not fully utilize your unique skills and talents, leaving you, potentially underutilized, because you may have so many talents and a lot of skills, but the job that you have been given may not utilize any of those skills. Look at this person who's been given a job of filing. All right, these are university graduate, but all they can do is put papers in a file in a certain way in a file and then go and file them somewhere in a cupboard. All right, or if it's not physical filing, it's filing electronically, maybe scanning documents and putting them into a certain vault. But you went to a university, studied, completed, you have a degree. It's not a bad job to start with, but after a few years, maybe 2 years, 3 years, I would urge you to start looking for something else if there is no opportunity in that organization. Start looking out and finding out how can you utilize your skills. Because if you stick for too long and your skills are not getting utilized, eventually that will be totally useless. Yeah, your mind will actually even have forgotten what you are meant to be doing in the first place. So those are actually additional 4 points that I want you to start thinking about. Are you experiencing this? And if you're experiencing, then you need to start jogging your mind and finding out what else you could do with your talent, with your skills, right? And this book that I keep talking about in every video is a tool that you can use to start helping you to jog your mind, because it has quite a lot of information in here that helps you structure your mindset and come up with those ideas in a structured way, so that you can eventually, you package those ideas into something that you can sell and make money. And perhaps this will be your retirement benefit. In fact, nowadays people are not retiring, they're actually saying that they are upgrading. Yeah, it's not a retirement, it's an upgrade to another level. Because if you have done something and you've done it so well and now you're leaving it to go to somewhere else, then you're upgrading to the next level. So there's no retirement, it's an upgrade. So when are you upgrading your life? Let's have a conversation very soon. And with that, it's a goodbye for now.